all are here today. Now, as the primary thing that I want to talk about is the introduction of the organization that I'm representing. This platform is representing. This organization's name is Blend Global Learning and Development. Blend Global Learning and Development is a very unique organization which thrives to bring in the industry professionals, the training and the learning fraternity together under one umbrella. So it is a initiative that we are trying to take in wherein we have people from the industry, people from the training fraternity and the learners. So what happens here is that when we put together all these three things, we ensure a lot of knowledge sharing, a lot of exchange, a lot of learning, and a lot of takeaways. And what happens? People come here, people interact, people share knowledge, and they go back with a lot of knowledge, experience, and things to share forward. And Blend Global is an organization which thrives to give everybody a chance to become more and more effective in whatever we are doing. So as I said, that we have industry, learners, and the training industry together, these three things together, we have verticals for all these three things. Like this platform, we have a platform for the industry experts. That's a blend talk wherein industry experts come in, they talk about their industry, what are the current trends in the industry, what are the current requirements that the industry holds for the learners right now, the new entrants right now, and what are the upcoming strategies and what are the dynamisms of this industry right now. For the trainers, we have a platform called Blend Meet, wherein people, the trainers, can come, they can enhance their capacity, build on their knowledge, and become really effective in whatever they are doing. And for learners, we have two very important things running right now. One is this platform that we are currently into, Blend Talks GeNext, and this I will come later and I'll explain what is it. But one more program that we run is Chalk Capability Development Program. Now, Chalk Capability Development Program is a professional refinement program in which we facilitate, mentor, coach, train a learner on professional skills. To be very precise, 75 professional skills, along with futuristic behavioral skills and futuristic social skills. Nonetheless, we also train, facilitate, coach, and mentor people on the 21st century important skills. And another initiative that we have for our learners is the young minds is the Blend Talks GeNext. Blend Talks GeNext is a very unique platform wherein a young mind can come, talk about their knowledge, experience, passion, interest, or any change that they want to bring to the society. This is a platform where they can not only talk, but they can directly and indirectly learn and gather a lot of experience. It's nothing but a huge platform for knowledge sharing, wherein we not only you can not only improve on your network, but you can also improve upon your presentation skills, your preparation skills, your talking. Everything can be enhanced. So let me quickly take you through this presentation that I have in front of me. It's a short presentation that I want to make about Blend Talks 10x. Now, why it is? Why are we here? Why are we talking about GeNext today? There are very few platforms here available right now virtually, which completely focuses on the young minds. We have a lot of platform when you can talk, you can express what you want to talk about, your experience, your knowledge, your passion, your interest, everything. But these platforms are very hard to reach, and they only encourage people who have a lot of experience. However, in Blend Talks GeNext, we call upon all those young minds who are still enriching themselves with a lot of experience, and they have a new perspective altogether, because we envision that for the development of a society, for the development of our nation, empowering the young minds is the most important things. The learners are the most important pillar of our society, our nation. Hence, we want to bring them up, bring to the light, so that they can talk and spread their knowledge across with like-minded people, wherein there would be people who would resonate with them, and they would also have industry experts. People who are present here in this audience right now, they're industry experts, they're professionals. You can get a lot of appreciation and a lot of inputs about what you're doing right now. So we all need a place where we can showcase ourselves, and we can tell the world that yes, this is what I am doing. GeNext is this platform where we can present ourselves. So who can speak? Very simple. All of you can. If you have the passion, if you want to talk what you're feeling, if you have something to say, if you want to take your heart out in front of an audience, a valuable audience, you can always come to us. All you have to do is to write us at info@blendglobal.in, and you can be our next speaker. And the link is always available in our social handles. You can come and you can follow our social handles in order to simply be a part of it. The next thing is that we have been conducting this Blend Talks GeNext since a long time. We have a base of good speakers here. Few of the speakers are present here as well. Today, we are going to listen to Deepti Ramesh. I heartily welcome Deepti Ramesh to the platform here. Deepti, let me introduce her a little bit. Although she has a lot of things that she has done till date, but just to introduce her, she is a sports person. She's a national badminton player, and very simple to say that she's also a fitness enthusiast. Unsurprisingly, yes. And then she has already embarked her dream journey as an audit assistant at Deloitte. She has a very unique perspective towards life. As per her hobby, she likes playing synthesizer as well. And she's a very good human being. Let's listen to her perspective, her journey as a sports person, and how has it impacted her lifestyle. Over to you, Deepti. A warm welcome once again, and now the stage is all yours.
Just a moment.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sharmila. First of all, I would like to thank Blend Global for providing this opportunity. And most of all, I would like to thank Sharmila for choosing me for this platform so that I can share my experience here with all of you. Thank you once again. Well, I hope a few of you here follow and play badminton. And since it's the Olympic period right now, I hope a few of you have watched Sindhu's match today. Well, unfortunately, she lost, but it's okay. They still reached the semifinals, so it was a good run for her as well. What I believe is that every small achievement adds to the experience that one accumulates during a lifetime. I hope we all are on the same page here. Well, let me state my achievements. I was ranked number 2 in India, and I have been consistently ranked in the top 15 in India in the age category of under 13 to under 17. I have won several state championships as well. I have also represented Maharashtra state team and Karnataka state team during many occasions. And till the previous lockdown, I was ranked number 1 in Karnataka state. So this is it as of now. Well, how do you all think I was able to achieve in badminton while I performed well academically as well? Like I balanced it out evenly. Let me start from the start. I guess I was just 9 years old when my dad was transferred to Nagpur in Maharashtra. Um, I was a very I was a very active child, and when I was in Bangalore, I used to practice athletics. So shifting to Nagpur was something new for me. The environment was new, and I didn't find many friends there because it was hard for me to mingle, mainly because of the language barrier. अभी भी मुझे अच्छे से हिंदी नहीं आता है. That was the main thing there. Well, then I used to pester my mom to, enroll me into something so that I stay outdoor. I didn't want to stay at home anymore. Finally, my dad decided to check out a few places where he could enroll me. I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, outdoor sports was definitely ruled out due to the extreme weather conditions in Nagpur. So somehow I ended up getting enrolled into badminton coaching. And I was just happy to be there. And I started learning Hindi as well. And once I started mingling with people there, I found many friends as well. And about the practice during that time, during the first few stages, my coach used to ask me to hit the shuttle to the wall. That is called as wall practice. So you just hit the shuttle to the wall and that is it. And about the on-court practice, if you're very lucky that day, you will get to play on-court for a few minutes and then you're done, you're out. The next session comes in. So this was my practice routine during that time. And then one fine day, my coach comes up to me and he asks me to participate in a tournament. Remember, it's just been a month or two since I started practicing badminton, and this was a complete new game for me. I was very excited about participating in this tournament. Well, on one hand, there was my mom, who was absolutely furious about this, which is typical of her. She said, "This, how can your coach ask you to play a tournament when you've only been practicing for a few months? And most of all, the sport itself is so expensive. How we're already paying so much for the rackets, for the shoes, and don't forget the shuttlecocks as well. And now he wants you to play a tournament." Yeah, it might sound a little disappointing, but then on the other hand, my dad, trust me, he was low-key excited about this. So, and he turned out to be super chill, and he asked me to participate in this tournament. Finally, I ended up participating in it, and the tournament began. And in the end, I ended up winning this tournament. Well, from there on, my journey started as a professional badminton player. And trust me, it has been a roller coaster ride till now. And I have learned so many things which has made me what I am right now. Well, now I was determined to win more and more, and I was winning as well. But always sports teaches us sportsmanship, and most of all, it teaches us how to accept losses, how to accept failures. And just remember, I'm this 10-year-old girl, little girl, who's already getting life lessons unknowingly. Um, I was a very stubborn kid, and trust me, I hated losing. So I was just never ready to accept losses. I used to get cranky on court, and I used to be a complete mess. And there have been so many instances where I have broken a few of my rackets. And here comes in my sarcastic mom. She jokes about it, saying, "You know what? I'll just collect all those broken rackets and make a museum out of it." Not so funny, but anyways. um, Eventually, I learned to accept the failures. I analyzed it, and it was helping me perform. And my coach recognized my talent, and he started working on my game. And sure enough, I started performing. And in the coming year, I was already participating in numerous state and national level tournaments. And finally, I was selected to represent the Maharashtra state team in the national championships the same year. And in that year end, what happened was my father, he was just uh, going through the national ranking list, which was announced during that time, only to find my name in it, which was another big surprise. Um, I was ranked number 2 that time. I didn't even know what to feel, or I didn't even know what I was supposed to be doing at the time, because, being number 2 in the whole of the country was a huge thing. But I don't know, we didn't celebrate it or anything, because I had to win more tournaments so that I had to become number 1, step up. And leaving the badminton side as of now, that time, I guess I was in 7th grade when all of this was happening. My friends and schoolmates and all the teachers at school had given me the title of the badminton champ. And I was apparently the popular kid in school. I mean, which kid doesn't want to be the popular one at that time? And trust me, I was totally owning it. Only because I was able to perform well in academics too. I used to top my classes while playing professional badminton at the time. And unknowingly, I was learning how to maintain a balance, how to manage my time, and how to multitask. And this was just during 12 to 13 years of age, and I was learning so much already. Well, following this, my coach obviously scheduled rigorous training sessions for me, and I feel I used to spend so much time on court, which was, I mean, if compared to the time I spent in school or at home, it was way more than that. It was so tight that sometimes I felt that I didn't even have enough room to breathe. I was on court almost all day. And at that age, I believed that, this was it. I just put in all my hard work. I just learn all the strokes and, stay fit on court. And that's how I can win. And at that time, my parents handed over my reins to my coaches and they took over it. And eventually, I won my first nationals and I went on to become the finalist in the few more national tournaments in those coming years. And given this type of schedule, it was so rigorous that I felt that I was drained out. And this led to me having my first major injury. This was definitely a huge setback for my whole team. My coaches and I, we both were definitely disappointed because there were so many major tournaments which were coming up, and I would not be able to participate in those. But still, they asked me to come on court and keep in touch with the game. And finally, I ended up playing a few more tournaments, which now, like when I look back, I feel that, I still could have skipped those tournaments. There was no hurry for me to participate in those because I was still so young and I had a long way up ahead. But anyways, I ended up participating, and obviously my performance dipped. I was under immense pressure to keep up my position, and I was not able to perform consistently. At this point, what I feel is that reaching the top isn't the hardest part. It's always about, maintaining the position at what you are. That definitely is the hardest part because you have to be so consistent, so strong to stay right there. While I was going through this setback, I finally got an opening. It was a huge one. I got a chance to train in the Prakash Padukone Badminton Academy, one of the best academies in India. So now we had to shift back to Bangalore. And my parents were so supportive of this. They had so many commitments. They were ready to give it all up. And they didn't even give it a second thought because they were ready to compromise for me. And I'm glad that I got their support. So finally, we ended up shifting to Bangalore again. And um, I had a lot of dreams and expectations from this place, from this academy. It was a whole new environment, and I was kind of loving it at the start. And I started performing well when I was selected here. But when I kept going on further, I slowly started feeling the pressure of always trying to perform well. All the sports persons cannot have the same kind of performance over a long period. There will be a few ups and downs, and we should be able to handle it. But here I had this, I don't know, unknown pressure. And I'm not talking about the pressure on court. Trust me, I've had my share. I've had these neck to neck battles where I've fought through and I've won it. Here the pressure was to be at the top in the academy, so you get all the attention, so people look at you and are ready to push you ahead. And trust me, this kind of pressure was so unhealthy, it was crushing me under, and I did not know how to handle this. And in between all this, there was a point where I was one of the contenders to be selected for the Indian team, and I was so close, but I was dropped due to technical reasons. And these technical reasons were something like a few tournaments, maybe one or two, which I thought, I skipped those thinking that the points for these tournaments would not be allotted. That was what was announced at the start of the year. So at the end of the year, during the selection period, suddenly these tournaments were highlighted and we're told that these tournaments have points and people who have played these will be the ones who will be selected. But anyways, putting that aside, I just felt that I was so close into getting into the Indian team. And I was super determined to, work hard and get better and, up my performance. But unfortunately, I had another injury, and during that time, I was at the top of my form, and it was a huge setback for me, a huge, huge setback. I had no choice, and I had to stop practicing for a while. And during this recovery period, I started attending school regularly. And then I realized back in Nagpur, I was this popular child in school who everybody knew about. And suddenly in Bangalore, here in the school, nobody knows about me. Nobody even recognizes me. Why? That was because I barely attended school. All the time, I was on court practicing. And I was only allowed to attend school when I had exams. This was the academy's rule, and this rule applies for everyone in the academy. So I just feel that I missed out on so many activities in school, the MUNs, the debates, the story writing competition, so many things that happen in school. I missed out on all of those just because I was concentrating only on my practice and on badminton. And suddenly I didn't have as many friends as I used to have. And I just felt very lonely, and I started pushing myself away. And this was a very dark phase because I just felt that I was not performing well in badminton. I was going nowhere there, nor was I able to cope up with my studies. I just felt so hopeless and lost during this time. Eventually, I had my 10th board exams, and I just wanted to get it done with, just pass it and, finish it. But I ended up scoring a 9.5 CGPA in it. Now, I was surprised, but then I thought about it. I was like, I always performed well in studies. Why should I even be surprised about this? That is when I realized that all my performances in the academics were never actually highlighted up to that point as much as my badminton performances or training was highlighted. All of this overshadowed my academic side. And then slowly I just started exploring these subjects and I found them interesting. And suddenly I had thoughts like, why shouldn't I take up professional courses? But I still wanted to continue badminton professionally. This was so confusing for me. And why I felt it so confusing was because I had never seen any professional sports person, at least in my circles, to have taken up a professional course while performing well in badminton also, or in any sport at that, as a matter of fact. So it was a very uncommon thought. I felt like that because that was what was fed into me, like if you're a sports person, you have to train for 8 to 9 hours a day and you attend school or college only for exams. There was no other, there was no space given to think otherwise. Um, so finally, my parents figured out what I was going through. They understood my situation and they stood strong by me and they asked me to do what I felt like. But I was still scared, to just, I was still scared because this was an unknown area for me. And there were too many people who were, I don't know if I have to say against this thought, but they were definitely not with me on this. They were all like, if you leave the academy or if you leave badminton, then you will have to take up science only. No, that is the only way to go. Again, there was no space given for me to think. But finally, I took the risk. I switched to my so-called plan B and I took up studies. My father asked me to exit the academy because I was unable to handle the pressure which I was facing, that stay the best in the academy, leave it on court or my performance. It was to be the best in the academy. And yeah, so he asked me to exit the academy and I did. And I took a few months off so that I could give time to myself, so that I could explore my other side. And trust me, I loved it. And I'm so glad that I took that decision. And I'm so glad that my parents were there standing by my side to say that it's okay, you can take this up as well. And there is no harm in doing it. So finally, I slowly started playing badminton with a local group here. And I just played for an hour or two while attending college regularly because I loved doing it. And I attended all those competitions in college. And once I started mingling with another crowd, a different crowd, I felt that my thinking process and everything was just widening up. And I had suddenly become so creative. And I feel that when I was in the academy, I had stopped loving the game. I was so passionate about this game at one point of time, and suddenly I just was pushing it away. But once I changed it, I felt that I found love again. And this helped me make a strong comeback that year. And I ended up winning all the state tournaments that year. And I was selected to represent the Karnataka team in 3 different categories: under 17, under 19, and women's. And I was ranked number 1 in all these 3 categories for those 2 consecutive years. So you can see how much of a difference it made in my life, that small decision. Right now, I don't feel pressurized at all. I just love the game and I just love what I'm doing. And finally, I feel that the reins are in my hands and I get to take the decisions now. So, right now, I have decided to professionally play badminton while I parallelly pursue my professional courses as well. And moreover, I'm hoping to see a whole new world as my journey begins with Deloitte. So, this is everything about me, the past 10 years of my life, what I went through. This is everything about me. Well, now, you all might be thinking, um, what is so different here? I mean, every sports person leads this life. This is how it is. Why am I being so complaining about it? Um, Let me tell you. What I feel is that in my journey, I have learned many things, and trust me, I'm grateful of it. But I just feel that no other child or no other individual should go through this confusing period, and they shouldn't be scared of anything during this period. You know what I mean to say when I say the confusing period is, it is important to always have a plan B. You should always have a backup, and the child or the individual shouldn't hesitate to take the switch, to take that decision. And this switch can prove to be so important because this is what will decide your future. And at this point, it is very important for the parents and the coaches or the guardians to be very supportive of it. There should be clarity since the beginning. What if, let me take an example. What if you have, I don't know, a very serious injury which prevents you from playing or performing professionally in the future? Then suddenly you don't have anything. If it's better if you have a plan B so that you don't go into that side. And therefore, it is important to gauge the child's capabilities and potentials and not to just burden them with pressure of performing. See, what I feel is that sports can turn out to be a career choice especially in our country. Like with the population of more than 1 billion, at least a few thousands of whom at some point or the other in their life wish to be a sports person. And then they want to represent the country at a global level. But there is no certainty that each one of them will succeed. Yeah. All of us can't be Sindhus or Sainas. Yeah. Under such circumstances, it also becomes necessary for the athletes to have a backup just in case their career in sports or whatever they've chosen to doesn't take off as they have planned. And many famous athletes have realized this and went on to achieve some high educational qualifications. Why don't you all just take a look at them, a few of them? I'm pretty sure you might know most of them here. This is Hina Sidhu. She is an ace shooter of India, and she became the first Indian pistol shooter to reach #1 in the world. And she also won the 10-meter air pistol event and became the first Indian pistol shooter to win a gold medal in the World Cup. Fun fact, Hina Sidhu received a bachelor of dental surgery. I'm pretty sure you recognize this personality. This is none other than legendary Indian spinner, Anil Kumble. Well, he has a mechanical engineering degree and he has done it from the RV College of Engineering. This is Venus Williams. And Venus Williams has won a total of 4 Olympic gold medals. And this tennis star has earned a BSc in business administration from a very famous university. And she says, I quote, it has always been my lifelong dream to have a business degree and become a better planner and a better leader. Golden words. Not only in sports, in so many different fields, it's still the same story. Who doesn't know Manushi Chilla? She is Miss World and a doctor by profession. And this is Dr. Anna Eisenhower, and she won a gold medal in cycling in the present Tokyo Olympics, which is happening right now. And she has a PhD in math. She is a mathematician researching non-linear partial differential equations. I have no clue about this, but she's doing something great. And this is Lina, the Chinese tennis champion. She's the only Asian to ever win 2 singles Grand Slam. She has a degree in journalism, and she got this degree when she stayed off the tour for almost 25 months. And then she came back with a bang and broke all the records for Asian tennis. So obviously there must have been some kind of hindsight when these personalities have chosen to take up such high qualifications. So I just feel that education plays a very important role in a sports person's life. Well, in my experience, my coaches have supported me a lot using their own methods initially. And here I'm touching upon a very technical topic. So when I'm talking about this, I'm saying that there is a coach-centric approach, which I'm talking about right now, where the player always listens to the coach and does as he is told. So there's no other unique thinking here of the player himself. So he just listens to the advice he is given to. But factually, an athlete-centric approach should be followed, where a player should be given all the freedom to plan for himself and to analyze the game himself, but at the same time, while having constant support and guidance. And this approach does not only apply to a sports person. I feel this applies in every other field where the person or the professional is given total charge of himself and his field. That is when he can explore and get as creative as possible. And this makes the player more mature and creative as well. And he can be more aware of the field or on court, as a matter of fact. Well, according to this slide, the first stage is an active start. So here, at this point of time, the child or the individual is has just gotten into the sport or the extracurricular, whichever he or she has chosen, and they're just getting pulled towards it and they're interested about it. So this is just an active start. Then comes the next stage, which is fundamentals. At this point of time, that person is curious about this sport. He wants to know more about this sport, and he wants to just learn everything here. And then in the third stage, this is when the coaches, the parents, all of them come together. This is known as learning to train. So here, what I feel is that when a person has started to know about the learning and about the training cycle. In sports, you have the schedule. You have to wake up at 5. You have your fitness sessions. You have your morning practice session, then evening practice session. So many things are there. So the child here is learning about this cycle, and he's making himself ready to get into it. So this is learning to train. And once he has the right mindset, the coach can slowly start pushing him and start training to train. So this is when he gets adjusted in this cycle, and he wants to go on and on and on in this training cycle. And here it is very important for the coach or the guardian to understand that person, so that a training cycle exclusively for him is created. After this comes the next stage, which is known as training to compete. Here I'm trying to emphasize on compete because I'm not talking about the wins or losses here. The individual has to learn how to compete. He has to learn to manage his nerves on court. He has to get all the experience, and once he starts playing against different opponents, he will understand when to change the game, how to change the game, basically strategize accordingly. And here it is very important for everyone to decide if the child is ready to go for the kill, that is, if he's ready to train to win. Or else he can just take his time here and still train to compete and gain as much experience as possible. Then comes training to win. And here's when the practice schedules and everything is created accordingly, and the child is ready to go for the kill based on all the experiences he gained from so many tournaments he attended. He's ready for it. And then in the end, you're active for life. Once you've gone through this stage, you can inculcate or manifest all of these in real time. So, be it in sports or in just your regular life, you just are a better individual suddenly if compared to others. Actually, um, until one point of time, even I was unaware of this kind of approach. And I got clarity only when I met a few like minded people, and they made me understand the importance of this. And I'm very fortunate to have them at this juncture in my life. So, the athlete centric approach will prove to be fruitful only when the parents and the coaches think about the overall development or of the child, and I mean, rather than concentrating only on one aspect, only on sport, and then suddenly you're ignoring studies, and suddenly you're taking up studies and ignoring sports. If it goes this way, again, it will be coach centric, where the child is doing as he's told to do. There is no innovation or space, given for the child to innovate. That's what I meant to say here. This was one of the points which I wanted to tell. Well, moving on to the next slide. I'm sure all of you know them. I don't even have to introduce them. This is Serena Williams. She is so fired up and she's performing so well at the age of 39. And my favorite, Cristiano Ronaldo, he is 36, and I guess he's one of the best performers in the Euro Cup this year. And this is Messi, who is performing consistently at the age of 34. And this is none other than Roger Federer, the legend himself, at 39, still rolling on, and he is in the top 10 in the whole world. Why am I mentioning all of them? Is because what I feel is that a player doesn't have a shelf life. This is another important factor which is never addressed. There is just so much pressure on that player to perform at a very young age, and suddenly the time period is cut short, or they are given a temporary time period, and you basically a limited time period where you have to perform and you're done. There's just no hurry for any child or any individual, because they can achieve at any age. All of this depends on their mental and physical capabilities. For a matter of fact, even Lena and the cyclist about whom I was talking about, the cyclist, she got her first Olympic medal at the age of 30. And Lena got her Grand Slams at the age of 31. None of them here are 18-year-olds who are already performing and winning Olympics. It doesn't work like that. And it is very important to understand this. Until the age of 18, kids are still learning and trying to understand themselves. So at this point of time, they have to be given freedom so that they can understand their strengths, their weaknesses, they can judge their capabilities and potentials, and the opportunities and threats here are something external which can be managed by the parents and the coaches. So all the three of them have to come together if you want to if you want to produce one of the best individuals for the future. Even in my experience, even I have gone through this, because the system is made like that. If because of my injury, I missed out maybe a year, I guess, when I was in under 13, and suddenly everybody was like, "Arey, तुम्हारा तो age category miss हो गया, अभी तो you're done. You'll already go into under 15. How will you perform?" Then suddenly I had an injury in under 15 as well, and I had to miss out there. Again, they're all like, "Abhi to ho gaya apna life. Under 17 means seniors to aa gaya abhi." So this is the mindset. So what if I get into seniors? So what if players get into seniors? They can perform after 21 as well. It is all based upon their mental stability, is what I feel. And with the guidance, all of it can be achieved, everything. And generally speaking, sports itself always helps develop life skills, and the parents play a very important part here by supporting the individuals during this time, because so that they do not give up at this juncture and they love it and they want to take it up as well. Sports teaches time management, which helps us to lead a disciplined lifestyle. And moreover, it helps us to become independent. And most of all, teaches us patience and the determination to succeed. It teaches the child to face losses and move ahead and improve. When they start honing these skills, they tend to excel and perform well in any aspect. I'm not only talking about sport or studies. They just end up giving their best in whatever they do. And now, a scientific approach can be achieved only if all of these aspects and this kind of thinking is included. What I mean here is a balance between extracurricular and studies, and giving the individual enough time to explore himself and to know himself. Utilizing an athlete centric approach, all of this coming together will help a lot. One more aspect is that, in school, they usually follow a rigid routine curriculum every day. You have a timetable and everybody has to go through it. It's not only the school year, a sport also has a similar regime. That is how it is made right now. Uh, like for me, I had to go through an 8 hour or 9 hour practice session every day, 6 days a week. Well, maybe for me that was not needed. Maybe for my body type, 2 hours of practice and 1 hour of fitness was just enough for me. So what I'm trying to say here is that every child must not be treated differently. Must be treated differently. Sorry. I hope all of you have watched Tare Zameen Par. In that movie, if you all remember, there is a differently abled child, but his talents are hidden only because he was pushed into the rote learning method. And only when the teacher or the tutor came in, he pulled him out of that. He gave him time. He identified his traits, recognized his hidden talent, and suddenly a new, beautiful individual was born. This is what I'm trying to tell. Every child is different and they all are unique, have the different capabilities and ways of understanding. So they all shouldn't be pushed in the same line. They shouldn't be asked to do the same thing. Especially in sports, since I have come from that background, everybody follows the same routine, the same timetable. Just give me one moment. Have a sip of water. Thank you. Yeah, so what I was saying is that everybody just follows the same routine, which is not important. Because some might be born achievers here and they just go through. And among these, some might be late bloomers, you know. And then there are a few of them who put in all their blood and sweat and hard work and then move forward. And when I'm talking about this, all of this doesn't happen in a very limited period. So you can't give them a time period. Over a long time and with lot of hard work is when something beautiful or someone pops up suddenly. And the mindset here is just because somebody loses, suddenly they're discarded, suddenly they're negatively commented about. And I feel it is a very harsh treatment for an individual who is so talented, and the talent is no longer identified, they and no one highlights their hard work as well. So it is very important to understand these type of individuals and be patient with them, and all of this should be recognized before deciding anything further. So these are the few important points I wanted to make and let you all know about. And sports has definitely made an impact in my life. And here I'm not only talking about the things that I learned on court or during my practice sessions or anything like that. I'm telling it in a general way, it has made me creative. And at this point of time, I feel I can handle any pressure. I can just get past anything at this point of time. And I have also learned to understand other people and, become a better judge of situations and people. And I have also learned how to deal with them and whom to trust, whom not to trust, and who are truly supportive of us. I've been able to recognize all of these people and aspects in my life. And not to forget all those adventures I had while I was traveling for my tournaments all around India. I I just feel that there are so many interesting stories behind each tournament I travel to. Um, and I feel I have been able to inculcate all these learnings in my life real time only because I balanced it out with education. It just gave me a new perspective and a new outlook to things. If What I mean to say is, if you're only going one way, if you're only thinking about extracurricular or sport, you're just always mingling with the same kind of people, and there is no space to think out of the box. But when you balance it with your education, suddenly there's so many things, so many opportunities which you can take up. And at this point, I really hope that my future generation is given the freedom and space to work things out their way, like they want it to be. But obviously, with continuous support and guidance. And hopefully, this change will help produce better individuals. What I feel is that it is the passion which drives one to take up a sport or any extracurricular, while education is what helps to pursue it. Now it is time for us to change our outlook while the focus remains the same. And just do what you love to do, but don't forget to have a plan B. Just don't. Um, Lastly, there is a small mantra which I believe is important for one to succeed and stay content in life. And this applies for all the individuals. I'm not just talking particularly about one thing. It's for the young and the old and sports people, not the sports person, for everyone in general. But this has to be followed. Let me tell you. So the first one, reading. Read often and read to lead. Here, I feel that when an individual reads autobiographies or biographies of other great personalities, it gives them a different outlook. And, they might find themselves in a similar situation, and then they might get an idea like, yeah, I could have done this way. Even I can take this decision. Even I can move ahead. So I feel reading plays a very important part in one's life. Risk taking. Take risks when you can before life gets in the way. Um, Obviously, there will always be a moment where you have to decide, where you have to take risks. And don't be scared of it. Just go for it and it will help you out. Leading. Don't be a trend follower, be a trendsetter. See, again, here every individual is different. So you don't have to do what the other guy is doing. You can pave your own path and you can move on. And at this point, I feel that I am not a trend follower anymore. I'm glad to say that. Positivity. Find the good in what you do. I feel this was highlighted a lot during this lockdown period because people were not so happy staying at home. They're losing all the positivity and all that. So, whatever your mind tells, you should do it. Don't think about others. Don't think about what they say. Just follow it. And let's go to the next one, mindset. Do more creating than you do complaining. So what I feel here is that, see, during Corona period, everybody got creative here. And there were a few people who were complaining as well. Well, I feel I was the one who got creative here because I was not able to go to the courts and practice. So I started working out at home. I did a lot of fitness, and I just feel that I'm way fitter than I used to be before. And lastly, preparation. Plan for success, but be prepared to fail. Obviously, everyone plans to succeed, but there will be a few setbacks. But don't worry. As they say, failure is the stepping stone for success. You should just be ready for everything that comes your way. And any guesses who has given me this mantra? Uh, it is none other than the trendsetter himself, Elon Musk. Um, this is where I am, and I thank you all for being here for me and hearing me out. And I hope this was motivating, and I hope you all got to see another side of a sports person's life as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I mean, uh, you have set the trend here. And as you have said very rightly, that we got to see another side of a sports person. It's always like, you work hard, all the movies and everything that
Yes,
portrays a
yes,
sports person as that you work hard, you fail, and then you stand back again, you
yes,
walk up to the level, and then you win it, and never talks about all these mental and the psychological effects that a sports person goes through. Nobody mentions about the importance of study, the importance of developing the critical thinking and
yes.
creativity in yourself, importance of communication in sports as well. So you have complemented everything so well. I mean, things were all apart here and there. You got the knitting here. You brought all these things put together. You have given us a very good insight about it. And when I was listening to your journey, at a very young age, you have achieved so much. And people, yes, people who are late bloomers, yes, they do also get a
Yes,
lot of experience, but you have experienced a lot. Probably people of advanced age do not get to experience all those things that you have seen. You have seen harsh failures, steep hard work. You have seen downsides of every game, every tournament,
true.
everything that you have gone through, and a very enriching experience that you have shared with us. And it was indeed very motivating when you say that uh, these are the things. So before you only go and bang your head that yes, I'll have
Yes.
to work hard, or I'll have to work hard. There is a need of doing a SWOT analysis and understanding
Yes.
where to work hard, where not to. This is a very important point that you have brought to us. So, enriching session for all of us, I must say. Now, this is an open house. I have eminent people joining in the audience today, this such platform today. I have Rawat sir here. I have our first speaker for GeNext, John Xavier here. We have so many people here. So it's an open house. Over to the audience. If you have anything to ask Deepthi, if you have anything to give as an input, if you want to say anything to Deepthi, over to you all. Open house, please. I would request Rawat sir to give his inputs here. Please, sir.
Thank you, Sana. It's really great that we heard about the great journey of Deepti, and this is quite encouraging, and this is just an example to our youth or young generation. And since I am of the old generation and this is next gen, so there might be some confusion in between us, which is called the generation gap. Because I have seen that if there are 1,000 players, sports persons, sports guys, boys or girls, how many of them can achieve this target or this status? This is a question because at most of the places, the chances of get back is very, very high.
Okay.
So this is really great that in spite of so many difficulties, adversities, and other things, she could achieve this mukam.
Thank you.
What is her, I must say, message for most of the crowd guys that how should they start it? Because in life, no, livelihood is very important.
Yes, that was
So
what I was
that
trying
is,
to highlight here.
yeah, please.
Yeah, when I say that you have to maintain a balance, or when I say that you have to have a plan B, this is what exactly I meant, that what is important for your future? How can you survive ahead? So you can't ignore these important aspects in life and just take up one route and go on and on with it. So this is where I emphasize on education, because it always acts as, I mean, it's a support for you so that you can move on with it. So that's what I was trying to highlight through this whole session, that even in a sports person's life, education can never be ignored.
That's why there must be a balance.
Yes.
Thank you, Deepti. All the best. Good luck,
Thank
and
you. Thank you so much, sir.
you are the proud of the country.
Thank you, Rawat sir. Anybody else, please? We are actually spellbound with the way you have spoken today. Yeah, you have a question.
Yeah.
The chat box.
How would children with parents who aren't that understanding pursue their passion, but it's something that's against their parents' ideal? Yes, this was one more fact which I was trying to touch upon, where I spoke about, your team, that means your parents and your peers being very supportive of you. I feel when your parents are not so understanding of this fact, there is a communication gap which has to be fulfilled. So they are your parents, so don't be scared. Just go and talk it out with them, like how I did. At one point of time, as I told you, I exited the academy, and this was a huge decision for me. But I told it to my dad. I was scared about this as well. I was open with him, and I told it that I'm not able to handle this pressure. Help me out here. And when my parents saw me here in this stage, they understood what I was going through and they always wanted the best of me. And I'm very sure that even your parents or that individual parents would want their child to grow and to be happy eventually. You know, that is the point in life. Eventually, they have to be happy and satisfied. So I feel at this point, it's better if you open up with them and talk it out. It will always help. I hope I answered your question.
Now, the question was from John Xavier. John was our first speaker in this platform, and he is an aspiring movie maker, and he has in-depth knowledge of the films, and he took us through this experience and knowledge during his session with us. Thank you, John. Anybody else here, please? We have participants here. Any inputs? I am sure that Deepthi today could. Yeah, you have a question here. Okay, no, that's not a question.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Abrar.
Thank you, Abrar, for this message here. And I'm sure that you have motivated each and every one present here. It's not about the age, it's not about the situation or the stage of life, juncture of life you're standing at. It's all about understanding and logically playing with what you have in hand. It's not always being motivated and be encouraged and always bubbling with yes, I can do this, yes, I can do this.
Yes, it's always not that. There is another side, there is a darker side, and it's okay to be there because that's how we learn, no?
That's how we learn, and most important thing is how to stay logical and understand things, evaluate the situation, then take a decision and move accordingly. So it was wonderful being with you today, Deepthi.
Thank you so much.
And let me take the opportunity to thank everyone present here. I would again go back to Rawat sir. Rawat sir, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for your input, sir. We had Samia here, John here, Abrar here, Nathaniel Sands, Leena ma'am here, Chandrakanta, Dhanatha, and Triyambika with us here. And I acknowledge each and everybody's presence here. Thank you so much. This Blend Talk GeNext happens every Saturday. Next month onwards, every August, every week of August, every Saturday, we will have our GeNext Blend Talk session. All of you are cordially invited. Please do join in our next sessions and appreciate and encourage and help our other speakers move ahead too. And please do visit our website blendglobal.in. All our details of the verticals, the industry experts, the trainers, the learners, there is for every person, everybody, there is one or the other thing available in our website. Please do go through our website and know more about us. You please do subscribe to our newsletter. Our newsletter is also enriching. We talk about all our upcoming events or everything that Blend Global is trying to do towards the society. Have a very good weekend ahead. Have a very good time ahead. I wish I see most of you back again next Saturday. Until then, thank you so much, everyone, for your valuable presence. Thank you, Deepthi, for your valuable.
Thank you so much for providing this platform for me to express myself here. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have our, thank you, sir. We have our social handles. We are present in Instagram. We are present in Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere. So do visit our website. All the buttons are there. You can follow our social handle and know more about our posts and our initiatives. Thank you so much. Have a very great evening ahead, great weekend ahead. Bye-bye. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.